Yeah. You had everybody fooled. Whole time I was drowning behind closed doors. Man of God, huh? Tell you what. Yeah. You was preaching kingdom, I was losing everything. Smile for the camera while you cut me underneath. Told me submit while you emptied out my dreams. Now I see the truth clear was never what it seemed. Said I was your wife, but you treated me like cash. You script dress control every time I fall back. Public got a profit, private got a mask. Now I'm rebuilding everything you thought would never last. Met you when I'm injured, hand broke, life low. Varsity classes, leadership, nice clothes. Daddy trusted you, so I thought you was solid. Whole time you was clocking my savings and deposits. 778 score, business getting bigger. You saw potential, I thought I found a leader. Talking about structured order, submission. Illy, it was isolation mixed with financial addiction. Sending money every week, another transfer. Whole time I'm disabled, still funding your answers. Told me I was selfish if I wanted my own cash. Meanwhile, you at the bar throwing hundreds in the glass. Otherwise, would never do no lame stuff like this. That sentence still echo when I replay it. And girls sending money like I'm not your wife. And claim you a prophet while you threatening my life. You was preaching kingdom, I was losing everything. Smile for the camera while you cut me underneath. Told me submit while you emptied out my dreams. Now I see the truth clear was never what it seemed. Said I was your wife, but you treated me like cash. You script control every time I fall back. Public got a profit, private got a mask. Now I'm rebuilding everything you thought would never last. Pregnant and alone while you pressure me for settlements. Every phone call felt like another interrogation. Did the check hit? Called a lawyer, what they say. Never asked about the baby, just another payday. Atlanta hotel, roaches, air mattress, whatever. But you in designer shades, trying to stunt like you clever. Fake family YouTube, fake smiles, fake peace. Meanwhile behind scenes, everybody scared to speak. Told me check your feelings, do what your husband say. That ain't leadership, that's control wrapped in faith. Public's got a pushing you, somehow I'm out of order. But husbands got commandments too, you just ignore them. Some sons love the church, but where the love at? You ain't blind obedience, while I carried all the debt. Now the bankruptcy real, trauma still unpaid. And you still online preaching like your man's clean today. I was praying for a husband, you was building an image. I was trying to build a family, you was counting percentages. And every woman that endured, cause I told her just stay. I'm sorry, I was surviving the same pain. Kick the door at 2 in the morning. 7 weeks pregnant while you rage and performing. Call yourself a prophet, then prophesize death. That ain't God, that's ego mixed with liquor on your breath. Kids see it too, that's the saddest part. Children shouldn't carry grown men in their heart. When he hate the mother, then the child gon' suffer. Yeah, you said it yourself, I'll never forget them words. Now I see the system, not just one man. Leadership protect, leadership, that was always the plan. Counsel for the wives, excuses for the kings. Truth get buried when the platform sing. But I ain't sitting quiet while my life collapsed. The book don't learn with the peace almost took me with that. Now every episode another piece back. And every time I speak I finally breathe back. You was preaching kingdom, I was losing everything. Smile for the camera while you cut me underneath. Told me submit while you emptied out my dreams. Now I see the truth clear was never what it seemed. Public got a profit, private got a mask. Thought I stayed broken after everything that passed. But I survived a version that you nobody sees. And now the truth finally breathing through me. Yeah.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakaha Kodash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. Peace and blessings and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect. I'm the brother Zion, and pretty much I'm going to let this video speak for itself. All right, as you can see, that was one of Deacon Hakaz's wives, all right, who basically, you know, she seems to be fed up with his bullshit. And supposedly he took over $60,000 from this woman. And she's basically saying how he's basically extorted her, All right, but in the forefront, you acting like you this great leader. All right, and ultimately, this is the work of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. Because when you take the name away, when you say other nations could be saved, all right, when you completely regurgitate the doctrine, because these guys had most of it, right? Okay, they had most of the doctrine, even though most of it really don't count. You got to have all of it, but they've completely did a 180, if you will. Okay, they said all nations could make it. They said the name of the Most High is Yeshua, and they're fighting tooth and nail to prove these doctrines, these new doctrines that they're teaching. So what does Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai do? He exposes you. All right, he makes your wife, one of your wives, come out, and you gonna do a counter video and say, "Oh, she's lying," and she's, hey man, look like she got the receipts to me. All right, so let's hear what she has to say. Okay, this was sent in the group chat last night, and I said I'm gonna put it out. This is the Lord's doing, man. All right, and obviously this is public information. Okay, this ain't nothing that I went digging for. She made this public. All right, so the Most High is going to do what? Expose you guys, just like he did Al-Azhar. Because you guys are wicked, man. A bunch of wicked niggas who's in it for filthy lucre's sake. Excuse me.
I was married to a well-known Hebrew Israelite camp leader, someone thousands of people follow, listen to, and respect. But what I experienced behind closed doors was something completely different. And for a long time, I stayed quiet, but not anymore. I was married to someone publicly known as the deacon.
And Salakia, she made this like a series. So this is only part one. She made this a series, man. So she's spilling a lot of things. She's telling a lot. Giving away this guy's secrets, man. But that's the Lord.
Also known as Priest Hakah. Before I go any further, I want to be clear. This is not about being messy. This is not about tearing someone down for entertainment. This is about my real life. This is about my experience, and this is about why I feel I had no choice left but to bring this to a public platform. And I also want to say this from the beginning. I'm not randomly dragging a private person into the public eye. I was already publicly displayed as his wife across his social media platforms, YouTube pages, profile pictures, live streams, and family content. He publicly presented me and his other wives as part of the image and branding of his ministry and family structure. So if my image, my marriage, and my role in his life were public enough to help build that image, then my experience inside of that marriage is also mine to speak about. Especially when what was being shown publicly and what was happening privately were two very different things. There's literally an entire public platform built around this image. People are watching content about love, order, leadership, and family structure, while behind the scenes, I'm experiencing something.
And let this be a lesson to you brothers out there, man. All right, you ain't got to put your wife in the public eye with the ministry, man. You ain't got to have brothers putting their wives out there with the ministry and making family pages. And no, man, keep your wife. This is ultimately for the men, man. If they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. You ain't got to have your wife all on the camera, man. This is that's the building blocks to a downfall. All right, you give these women all this liberty, and then ultimately they're gonna come against you, man. But Hakah, we already knew you were wicked. This is the Most High's doing. You take away from the book of life, man. The Most High what's that in the Revelation? He that taketh away, the Most High shall take his name out of the book of life. You being exposed.
Very different. Right now, I'm separated again. And the way things ended this last time was not small. It was not just an argument. It was not something that could be talked through or fixed overnight. It was one of those moments where everything becomes super clear, where you realize this is not sustainable, this is not safe for me, and this is not something that I can keep carrying. And I'm going to talk about exactly what happened in this series, because that moment is a big part of why I'm here today. I also posted a link to my Substack below, which is a blog website where you can go to and read my entire story. I'm trying to find a way to provide for myself and my daughter after what I experienced as financial abuse in my marriage. And I say that because from my
financial abuse. Because we already knew that these guys were in it for the money. We already knew you was in it for the money. That's why a lot of us believe you sold out. Because you're addicted to the dead presidents, man. You're not content with daily bread.
Experience, I was left financially devastated. Over the course of this relationship, I lost over $60,000. My credit was destroyed, and I ended up filing for bankruptcy. And I was left trying to care for our daughter while disabled and financially dependent on him completely. So when people ask, why is she speaking publicly, or say I'm out of order or disrespectful for talking about my husband, I need people to understand something. I did not come here first. In this community, I felt like there was nowhere else to go. We had councils with multiple elders. We spoke with other leaders, Alazar, also known as Gorilla Hebrew, Captain Tazama, Priest Kahan and his wife Malakiyah, Priest Danya Allah. These were all people my husband claimed to respect. There were opportunities for correction, accountability, and someone to get through to him. And from my experience, none of it changed anything. He did not listen. He did not take advice. He did not receive counsel in a way that brought safety, stability, or change to this situation. And when children are involved, when your livelihood is on the line, and when your future is being affected, silence completely stops being an option. I also want to say something clearly before I continue. During one of our altercations while I was pregnant, he told me he would pay someone $20,000 to get rid of me. I have documentation surrounding that incident, and I will speak more about it later in this series. So if anything were to ever happen to me, I need it understood that statements like that were made directly to me during this relationship.
Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is a bad man, boy. Let's keep going.
I'm gonna. You think you're funny? You think it's all fun and games. Like, why do you want it? Why do you want me to get into a point where I don't care what the Israel? Why do you want me to get to a point to where I could really?
It's not my fault.
No. Listen to me. Do you not care that I could turn into a greasy ass nigga and say fuck the Israelites and all of that, and really get on you in a whole type of way that you couldn't even respond to? Why do you want to push a nigga there?
I don't.
Like, why do you want me?
I don't.
You know I got more money than you and your whole family. Why would you want me to just like say, all right?
He's bragging about his money. All right. He's basically telling her he could turn into a nigga. All right. These guys are monsters, man. Okay. And these ain't the men of the Lord. These guys are put on the forefront to look like the men of the Lord, but these ain't the men of the Lord. You brothers out there need to be careful. The Most High is exposing these men who claim to be prophets, man.
Hey. I'm about to just slaughter this bitch. Why do you want me to do that?
You want to do that. That's not what I want you to do. That's what you want to do.
Kill you and your family. That's what I want to do. I want to kill you and your
Why
family.
you want to kill me and my family? Why would you even bring that up?
I just asked you a question, you fucking dummy. I want to kill you and your family. That's what you're saying?
That's what you're saying. I didn't bring that up. Who brought that up? Who brought that up? I never said you want to kill me and my whole family.
You know what? Here's the thing.
This is crazy. I'm not saying this for shock value. I'm not saying it for attention. I'm saying it because I took statements like that seriously, especially given everything else that occurred. That's why I'm here. Not because I want drama, not because I want attention, but because I literally feel like I have nowhere left to go and no private avenue left that actually helped. And if there are elders or leadership who genuinely want to understand and genuinely want to help in a real way, I'm open to that. But I'm not going to keep protecting an image while my real life is falling apart. And I also want to say this early.
And this is why we tell you brothers and you sisters out there, it's important that you follow correct leadership. Okay? Why people want to throw dirt on the apostles and elders and say what they've said in the past. Come on, man. You know, slander and all of that. But we see who the true leaders are, man, because ain't nobody coming out. Ain't no brothers' wives coming out and speaking like this against them, man. The dirt is coming out on you wicked niggas, man. This isn't slander. This woman obviously has some truth and proof. You can't prove that what people were saying about GMN. Nobody can prove that because it never happened. But these other guys, man, they're, you know, they got skeletons in their closet that's being revealed by Habashim Shai. But the reason why these things are happening to these men is because they're destroying the Most High's doctrine. So this is how the Lord destroys you.
I know how this works. I know blame may be shifted onto me. I know the story may become, she chose this. She left. She went against him. She's not being a wife. She's bitter. She's out of order. But that was part of the pattern that I experienced. The issues he created often became my fault. Even now, when I ask for help with rent and basic stability for our daughter, the response becomes that I made my choice, that he doesn't have the funds, or that he only provides for women who are in order. And I need to address that right now because
He's a he's a control freak. He wants to control the dollars and he wants to control your life. He's a control freak, man.
Already knowing how this may be framed publicly. She just got mad and she left. She moved against his wishes. She's bitter because he won't pay her bills. But what people need to understand is this. By the time I left again, the marriage had already been breaking down long before that. This did not start because I left. After nearly 2 years of on and off separation, reconciliation attempts, and trying to make things work, I agreed to move back to Washington with my daughter. We began that transition in October 2025. We found a place to rent, and by December 2025, we were already on separation.
And let this be a lesson to the sincere sisters out there, man. You sisters that may follow a great millstone, okay? And you other sisters who may be straddling the fence. Be careful with the men that you deal with, okay? Be careful with the men that you deal with. Just because a man says he's an Israelite don't mean that he's righteous. You got control freaks out there, man. Okay? So you sisters, this is a valuable lesson for you. You think just because some shit look good on the camera, oh, he's a man of the Lord. Look at his fringes. Look at the colors that they wear. No. And these guys have been warned they've been warned time after time. First it was Al-Azhar, now it's these guys. And the dominoes are gonna continue to fall for all you wicked niggas in Israel, man, who don't take heed to the true doctrine and the true men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Again. That separation happened after a situation involving my car, which I will get more into later. Basically, he allowed his other wives to drive the vehicle my mom financed for me without my knowledge or consent while I was in California. That is a vehicle that he was not paying for, and he let one of them use it who is not insured. He told me he didn't need my permission. He said if anything happened to the car that he would replace it. Meanwhile, he has never paid my mom back for the down payment that he agreed to pay for the vehicle. And there are plenty of other things he agreed to pay and never paid back either. When everything escalated, he started telling me to stay in California, don't bring our daughter back to Washington, and that he would ship my stuff back to San Diego. Then he blocked my number. He even refused to pay for me and my daughter's luggage to return. My mom had to personally call him and remind him that me and his child were completely financially dependent on him before he finally agreed to pay for it. When we got back to Washington, things didn't improve. He immediately started pressuring me again. He told me he was not paying the rent in January. He told me I needed to figure out how to get me and my daughter back to California before the rent came due. This was less than 2 weeks before January. So while all of this was happening, I started applying for low-income housing back in San Diego. Not because I had some secret plan to leave him, but because realistically, I could already see where things were heading. Again, anybody who has dealt with affordable housing knows that the wait list can take years. But I still applied because I knew that me and my daughter were not stable. At the same time, he was telling me I needed to immediately decide whether I wanted a divorce or a separation. He said he reread Matthew and he believed he could write me a bill of divorce outside of fornication. And if I did not want a divorce, then we had to remain separated until at least Passover because of how I reacted to things. And of course, I said I didn't want a divorce. We had literally just got back to Washington and I wanted my daughter to have her father. And I had nowhere else to go. So I agreed to a separation. But even the separation itself was unhealthy and unstable. Then another issue came up. And honestly, this is one of the moments that stayed with me because it shows how quickly things could escalate. It was almond milk, something small. He asked me to get almond milk from the store, and I accidentally got the wrong kind. Instead of it just being a normal conversation, he immediately turned it into, "You need to do better as a wife." And when I told him that was rude and unnecessary, he did not hear me out. He flipped it into me not liking correction. Then he repeated it again, that I need to do better. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is not correction. This is disrespect. When we got off the phone, I didn't say bye. I just hung up because I was tired of constantly being talked down to. That immediately turned into another issue. He made me bring his 2-year-old daughter back right away, even though she and my daughter were both upset and crying because they had bonded and wanted to stay together. And that was really hard emotionally because he was the one saying that he wanted the children bonding as siblings. But anytime that he got upset with me, everything became unstable again. And I started realizing I did not want my daughter deeply attached to situations and routines that could be ripped away every time he got angry or wanted to prove a point. I recorded one of those conversations we had after that because I was trying to explain how deeply this was affecting me. I told him I was tired of being disrespected. I asked him, what was I supposed
And I want to say, once a person starts recording conversations, you know that it's been a series of events that took place to the point where they're like, let me record this. That's how you know it's gotten to a point where it's like you can't take it no more, you know? So you can tell she's been going through a bunch of shit, man.
to allow my daughter to grow up seeing? And instead of apologizing or acknowledging anything, he basically said he would just tell our daughter that people make mistakes. But the problem was, he did not believe he made a mistake. He was not sorry. He openly said he was not apologizing. And that hit me really hard because I realized I was being expected to normalize disrespect in front of my daughter and quietly move on from it every single time. And mentally, that just became exhausting. At the same time, we had multiple conversations about the fact that I needed actual help with our daughter. Here's some screenshots of him asking what I needed, what I wanted the visit to look like, and how I wanted things structured. But nothing actually changed. I kept asking him to spend real time with his daughter, to help me, to be present. And his response was basically that even if he only saw her for 30 seconds, that's enough. Meanwhile, I was with her every single day, completely alone. And when we did go over to his house, most of the parenting still fell on me. He also started pushing me to leave her there without me. But realistically, it would not have been him watching her. It would have fallen on to another wife who already had multiple young children of her own. And I kept thinking, you are asking me to leave my 1-year-old exclusively breastfed daughter somewhere she's uncomfortable with people she barely knows while you stay occupied doing other things. That's not co-parenting. That is not active fatherhood. And despite us living literally 4 minutes away from him, there were long stretches where he barely saw our daughter at all, sometimes weeks. The longest stretch was about a month. Now, he hasn't talked to her in about a month. So by the time my daughter got seriously sick in March 2026, and I asked him to take us to the ER, mentally I was already exhausted from everything leading up to that point. But even then, he told me that I was being dramatic and to just give her some juice. So I ended up taking her myself. She was admitted into the hospital and had to stay there for 5 days. During that entire hospitalization, he did not come. He did not help. He did not call. He did not text. He did not check on his daughter one time. He did not help care for her afterwards either. And that became one of the biggest turning points for me mentally, because I realized I was already functioning like a single mother while still being controlled like a wife. So when a low-income complex near my family in San Diego suddenly called, despite thousands of people being on the wait list, I saw it as an opportunity me and my daughter genuinely needed. I would finally have support around me instead of being isolated in Washington trying to carry everything alone. And when I brought up the move, suddenly the story changed again. Now, suddenly, he wanted to focus on our daughter. Now, suddenly, he said he would help more. But by that point, I had already heard promises over and over that never turned into consistent action. And one thing he said during that time has never left my mind. He told me, "When I hate the mother, the child suffers." And I have that recorded. All by myself, and it's exhausting.
You're not listening. Yes, you're right. And that's because when I don't like the mother of my children, whatever mother it is, I don't even want to be around the children. My issue is, and it's been like that, if I hate the mother of the child is always affected, and that's not okay. But it's how.
He's too busy being caught up in his image, wearing designer clothes and posing for the damn camera, man. You know? He's caught up in himself.
How you feeling?
So no, I did not randomly leave a healthy marriage because I was angry. By the time I moved, the separation had already happened. The instability had already happened. The isolation had already happened. The financial damage had already happened. And I was largely raising our daughter alone. I made the decision I believed was safest and most stable for me and my child. And because of that, he is now refusing to help financially, saying he cannot afford to, even though my rent and expenses are lower here. Meanwhile, there always seems to be money for going out, nightlife, drinking, and other things that do not reflect someone who supposedly has no ability to help support his family. There also seemed to be an expectation that other people would step in financially to help cover responsibilities involving his wives and children, while he continues to have more children and seek more women. And I want people to understand something very clearly. This is not me speaking from bitterness. These are ongoing issues that directly affect my real life and my daughter's life right now. I also want to be clear about something else. Anything I say in this series, I'm prepared to back up. I have messages, recordings, timelines, proof. So if negative claims are made about me, I ask for the same standard in return. Prove it. Don't just say it, prove it. And if people are brought onto platforms to defend him or discredit me, I want viewers to pay attention to evidence, not the performance. Because from my experience, this became a pattern. Shift the blame, control the narrative, and make the person that's being harmed look like the problem. Later in this series, I'm going to go deeper into what daily life and co-parenting actually look like behind closed doors. Because what people see online is not always what is real in private. And I also know I'm not the only woman who has experienced something like this. I used to question myself constantly, wondering if I was overreacting, if I was misunderstanding things, if I just needed to be better, do better, submit more, be quieter, be softer, be more patient. And honestly, one of the hardest things for me now is realizing there were times I repeated some of those same ideas to other women too. Not because deep down I truly believed that was what was the healthiest for them, but because I was operating from the mindset I was living under at that time. A lot of times I was saying what I believed my husband expected me to say, what I thought a good wife was supposed to say, what I thought being in order sounded like. And looking back now, that's painful for me because I can see how harmful that can be. I know what it feels like to be in something unhealthy and keep trying harder, keep shrinking yourself more, keep silencing yourself more, hoping that if you just say it better, do it better, submit better, or become softer, things will finally get better. So if I ever encouraged another woman to stay quiet longer than she should have, or tolerate something unhealthy because I was speaking from the mindset I was in during that time, I genuinely apologize. At the time, I thought I was helping. But looking back now, I understand much more clearly how easy it is to lose yourself while trying to become what someone else expects from you. And over time, things started to feel deeply wrong. Things were said to me that did not sit right. Things happened that I could not keep ignoring, and I'm going to walk you through all of that step by step. But before I even get into the full story, I want you to hear something.
Yeah, guess what? I'm not the one telling you which we can stay in love, bitch. I don't like you.
Now you're not saying that. Now you're not.
I don't like you. I don't like you. I'm not in love with you. Now what? What's up?
You're not hurting my feelings. You're not hurting my
Okay, well, I'm
feelings.
just telling you the truth. Good job. Good job.
What does that?
Just know that moving forward. Just know that moving forward.
You know, just know that the way that you're acting is not appropriate, and what you're doing is really childish for no reason.
No, what I'm doing is being honest with you. I don't like you. I'm not in love with you.
Now. But you weren't saying that last week when you were trying to out of me to get me pregnant, but now you're saying that just because you want to hurt my feelings, but it's not hurting me.
Because you want a child. Because you want a
So
child.
what? So what? What does that matter? So you just out of me?
I had a child with Brandy. I'm not in love with her.
So what?
Who the fuck you think you're talking
So why
to?
are you doing that?
Shut up talking. You know what's crazy? What type of bitch wants to go back and forth with somebody who... Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Fuck it. Yeah. So I had a baby with Brandy. I didn't like her. Just like I want to have a baby with you and I don't like you.
Okay, so
Let's keep this conversation going.
Okay, that's fine. So
let's just stay on the phone while I brutally, verbally abuse you. Let's just stay on the phone and do that. Let's entertain that.
Whose choice is that?
It's your choice.
Why? I'm not choosing to be verbally
because
abused.
You're going back and forth. You can say, let's just get off the phone. You can say, let's talk about something else. But guess what? That's not you. You're a drama-fied bitch. That's what you are.
This is one of the moments that stayed with me.
Doing this. Period.
You're not doing what? You're not accepting.
I'm not fucking with you no more.
Period. After you took everything from me. After I know you don't care.
Listen, why are you even talking about that? I'm telling you, I'm not fucking with you. You need to start making plans so that you're not just asked out, bros. You're being dumb. You're not going to be able to talk me back into this.
I'm not. How am I talking you into anything? You're the one that's trying to leave me as a single mother.
After you took all my shit,
you did.
The shit is already over. Okay, it's already over and done. There's nothing you can do about it. So why are you even saying it?
Because you're doing it again, and you're still happy doing that. That's why.
If I tell you to send me every dollar amount and you don't do it, I'm not fucking with you no more. Period.
Look, and that's the.
Wow. So he's definitely bloodthirsty for money, man. If I tell you to send me every dollar amount and you don't do it, I'm not fucking with you no more. Boy, oh boy.
Problem that you have is that you can't understand the mentality that you have. I'm not a hoe. You're not my pimp.
Oh. You know what? Watch this. Watch. I'll be there tonight. I'm dropping off your car, and I'm blocking you from everything. From my kids' phones, from everything.
You're doing all of this when I'm pregnant with your child.
Varsity. No, I don't care. I don't care.
Pregnant with your
from
child.
Varsity and everything. And any bitch that wants to talk to you, she will not be able to be a part of Shakari.
And I'm pregnant with your child. And you won't call. And you won't call nobody in Shakari.
It doesn't matter.
Look how you're acting. Look how you're acting.
Shut up while I'm talking. They gave me their taxes. They didn't say, "Oh, you're a pimp. You're a pimp. You're a pimp."
You didn't take $30,000. You didn't take 30.
Shut up while I'm talking. You little ugly ass bitch. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not ugly. I'm not ugly. So come again. I'm not ugly.
Okay.
Anyways, you didn't take $30,000 from Brandy and Kia. Now imagine hearing things like that over time. Trying to make sense of it. Trying to justify it. Trying to convince yourself that it's normal.
Financial bullies.
Or that it's leadership or correction or authority or righteousness. That's where I was mentally. And that's why I stayed as long as I did. Because when you're in it, especially when there's faith involved, when there's leadership involved, and when the people around you are reinforcing the same ideas, it becomes a lot harder to trust what your own mind and body are telling you. It becomes easier to explain things away, to minimize things, to keep giving grace, to keep trying harder, to keep believing the next conversation will fix it, or the next apology, or the next promise, or the next counsel. And eventually, something shifted in me, and I realized I could not keep ignoring what I was feeling. I could not keep ignoring what I was experiencing, and I could not keep ignoring what all of this was costing me. Not emotionally, not financially, and definitely not as a mother. Because at some point, I had to stop asking myself how to keep surviving inside something that was breaking me down and start asking what kind of life I was creating for myself and my daughter if nothing ever changed. That became a very hard question for me because I wanted my marriage to work. I wanted my daughter to have her father. I wanted peace. I wanted stability. I wanted the things that I had been promised. And for a long time, I kept hoping that if I just held on a little longer, something would shift, that things would settle, that things would become what I believed they were supposed to be. But eventually, I had to accept what I was actually living instead of what I kept hoping it would become. And that acceptance has been painful, but it also brought clarity. So in this series, I'm going to take you all the way back to the beginning, how I met him, what drew me in, the things I ignored, the things I excused, the things I normalized, and how it all slowly led to where I am now. Because this is bigger than one moment. This is bigger than one argument. And this is bigger than one breakup. This is about my life. This is about my daughter. This is about survival. And at some point, I realized I could either keep silently drowning in everything this situation has cost me, or I could start taking my life back. And I'm not willing to just sit around and be a victim, not for myself, and definitely not for my daughter. And if my story helps even one woman see her situation more clearly, ask harder questions, or feel less alone, then speaking is worth it. This is just the beginning.